Well, today we'd like to use Matlab to plot both a predictive equation and then plot some data from an experiment on the same graph. In order to do this, we're going to start with a new script. This way we can save our data, we can save everything so that we could edit it and reproduce it later if we needed to. So we'll click on the new script. In my configuration, the editor window comes up here, right above the command window. Everything we type in the editor window, we could do down in the command window here, but it wouldn't be saved and we'd have to constantly retype it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter our data. So I'll start off with my angle data first. Note the use of the square brackets. I put a space between each of my data points. I like to close with a semicolon. That way I don't see my command window get filled up with stuff when I go to run the script. I should also note that in general I find it good practice to have all of my variables start with a capital letter, as I just changed it there. All of the commands in Matlab are lowercase, and therefore I don't run the risk of overwriting anything. This also leaves us with a possibility of being able to edit things, rerun it, get our results back if we've made, say, a small mistake. Okay? So I have my data entered. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot our predictive equation. For this, I'm going to use the easy plot command. Default color for this plot comes out in blue. So it's just easy plot. A single quote, and my predictive equation for this experiment happens to be 9.81 times the sign. Now in my case I'm going to put a D after the sign, and this is for degree mode. We happen to be looking at the acceleration of a cart down a frictionless surface. I'm going to put a range here from 0 to 90 degrees. My next command that I'm going to issue is the command hold on, telling the computer that more graphs are coming. I'm now going to plot my data. Now, you could retype it. I'm going to choose to copy and paste. That way I don't run the risk of misspelling something and having to edit it. And I think this time I want red circles. So I type R for red, lowercase o gives me the circle, and that should plot my data. I'm now going to put a title, label the x-axis, label the y-axis, and create a legend and turn the grid on. Okay, so there's my title, acceleration of a cart down a frictionless incline. My label, the x-axis. Very easy command, just x label. This would be, you could call it the angle, or you can say theta. I'll go just angle. The units would be degrees. Again, notice the syntax. If it's a text thing, I put it inside of the single quotes. Oh, it looks like I spelled X label wrong, so this is one of the powers of the being in the editor. Okay, so there's my Y label axis with the units. I've got the grid, I've got the title. Now for a legend. My predictive equation is just A is equal to G sine theta. If I've gotten my syntax correct, that'll actually come up with the proper Greek symbol there. We'll find out in a moment. And then the next would be my data. So notice that with my legend, the first item that I plotted comes first, and then the second comes at the end there. So I plotted my equation first, and so that comes up first, and then I plotted the data. Generally a good idea to issue the command hold off. That way, if you go to make another plot, you're not going to plot over what you've already done. Now, the one thing that I should point out is that the length of your data, what's on the x-axis and the y-axis, should be the same. In other words, each should have the exact same number of elements. So for angle, we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For acceleration, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of data, so that's good. We're now ready to run this. So we click up here, it says save and run. Matlab will ask us to save this script. You can call it, say, lab 1, which I'm going to overwrite. It'll ask me that, that's fine. You may have to tell it to add to the path, that's fine. And lo and behold, we have here our finished plot. Notice I can move the legend wherever I need it. We have the angle in degrees, acceleration. Oh, look at that. I forgot to close the parentheses on the meters per second squared. Not a problem. Let's close this. Oh, there's the error right there. So notice this allows for very easy editing. I can now run it again. Matlab will automatically save this. And notice we have fixed our problem here. Okay. At this point, some people like to make a few changes. I find it easier once I've got everything to make the changes. If I click up here where it says Tools, I can edit my plot, and I can select, say, my title. I can choose font. I can make it bold, and I can make it, say, a 24. I can choose my labels, X labels and Y labels on the X-axis. We can make those both bold at 18. This is not the only way to do that. It just happens to be a very convenient way, fairly fast way. We can come here, we can click on our data points. We can choose a line width or a marker size in our case. We can make those, say, 8. Those get a little bit bigger, okay, as you can see. I can choose the predicted line. I can choose a line width to be, say, 2, so that gets a little bit bigger. And you can continue to play with that until you have a plot that looks exactly the way you want it. Excellent. Perfect. We've got all that taken care of. Come up here, we'll click off Edit Plot. We can print this plot. We can save it. I'm going to come up here to File, and I'm going to save it. I'll do a Save As. Okay, again, I'm going to choose to put it on my desktop. I'm going to save this as a JPEG. This way I can put it inside of a Word document, or any other document for that matter, including a web page. We'll just call it Lab 1 Graph. Okay. Please be aware when you name things in Matlab, you can't have any spaces in your names, so no spaces are allowed. When I hit Save, it's essentially taking a picture. We can go to the desktop now, and there it is right there. And so as you can see, there's our plot ready to be inserted into a Word document. And if you notice, here's our file that has everything in it. Should we ever want to go and redo something, change titles, change names, any of that. And that concludes plotting data with a predictive equation in Matlab. Thank you.